Well, absolutely. Mahakumbh, the word itself, right? Maha. So it was, how do I say so? 66 crore people, right? 66 crore people. Largest congregation of human civilization.
Full frame. Full frame.
Largest. We need to just see 66 crore people, 25,000 crore in revenue, 1.5 lakh tent, 4,000 hectare city created. But we have to understand, largest human spiritual gathering. And it all went well until we heard that something has happened.
No, but in January, everything that has been seen this year, viewers, people call it religious polarization, but it is also Hindu vote consolidation, Hindu consolidation, Hindu assertion. These are the words we've used very strongly this year. Hindu mobilization.
Because it has happened.
No, not because it has happened, but because it is also being spoken about. Please keep in mind, Aishwarya, that 10 years back, you would be considered to be a Hindu zealot. You would be called extremely communal if you were to talk about Hindu consolidation.
Absolutely, you're right.
Right? Now, Mahakumbh was Hindu consolidation of the greatest level that this country has ever seen.
The world has
And I think Yogi Adityanath did an absolutely brilliant job by organizing it. But nobody actually expected more than 40 crore. I think that numbers which were being put up in December were 40 crore, and people would say, 40 crore people, do you know, is it even possible for 40 crore people to come to one place? And then the numbers went up to 66. And by the way, this is all AI checked. These are not claims by the government. These are AI checked claims. I spoke to one of the bureaucrats who was working there. He told me about the technology that they had put in place. So I think that when we are talking about Waqf, when we are talking about Murshidabad and Malda, when we are talking about this Sartan se Juda kind of response of Islamist radicals, I'm not saying it, but are there some politicians who are beginning to fear the consequences of Hindu consolidation, Hindu vote consolidation, who saw the Ram Mandir judgment, who saw the Ram Mandir being built, who saw the inauguration of the Ram temple, right? Who now were unable to come to terms with what was happening in January 2026, who were actually saying, my God, what's going on? It can't be so big. It was supposed to be 30, 40 crore people. How did twice the number come up? But I know personally, I can tell you, there were so many people who came from all over parts of the world. They just came there because they felt they should have done this before, and the government was giving them this moment now. So I think it was a great, great moment. But of course, there was a sad moment in that. We need to talk about that, which was on January 29th, 2025. And this was around very early in the morning, during Mauni Amavasya, which was the peak holy dip day, when due to confusion, a lot of young people came in towards the Triveni Sangam, and there were a lot of pilgrims who were sleeping, and there was most unfortunately a stampede, and I think a lot of people died in that. I can share with you, at that point of time, I did speak, I can share with you, to Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who was looking at things, but there was no attempt to downplay what happened. And I asked the Chief Minister what happened. He said that, see, I'm doing my absolute best. And this was not predictable.
Obviously.
And I agree with him. It was not possible to predict that a sudden surge of young men which would be rushing and those who were sleeping would not move, that at that point of time, barriers would buckle under pressure. So I think I spoke to Yogi ji at that point of time, and I think it was a sad moment. And I think we can play that clip. I think, remember, Niranjan, I think you were there. Can I play that 45-second video about what led to the stampede? Yes, please.
The warning ignored in Mahakumbh. I have two videos on the show this evening. One of the police commissioner clearly warning the devotees there to just move on to ensure that there is no inconvenience. And then I have an exclusive video, a 1 minute 26-second video that tells you the full story of why the stampede took place at the Mahakumbh. Take a look.
सभी श्रद्धालु सुन लें, यहाँ लेटे रहने से कोई फायदा नहीं है। जो सोवत है सो खोवत है। उठिए उठिए स्नान करिए, और ये आपके सुरक्षित रहने के लिए बहुत आएंगे और भगदड़ मचने की संभावना है।
Happened during that stampede. Stay with that full frame, Aditi. This is when we were showing the barricades fall. You know, such a confluence of people. And it is so sad, I want to say, so sad that this happened, but even more sad that there were some lobbies who were using this as an opportunity to talk about mismanagement, why were so many people allowed, were VVIPs treated differently, which is complete hogwash. It was not the case. Everybody was there, and these are one of those situations which happened. So
There were more than around 6 crore people
yeah,
that day.
yeah. But I would still say, go back to the earlier visuals of the success of the Mahakumbh. I would still say that the Mahakumbh was a massive success, one of the biggest visual moments of the year, one of the biggest news stories of the year.
I'm sure.
Not just human spiritual gathering.
I want to say one thing, Aishwarya. I'm sure on this table, all of us have a Mahakumbh story. And for me, I had a couple of Mahakumbh stories. I just want to share with you as a journalist in the newsroom. I didn't know my parents had gone to Mahakumbh. It was a surprise to me. I'm in Delhi NCR. I get a call from my parents one day, and they say that we have reached Mahakumbh. They were on a road trip. My father and mother reached Mahakumbh, and they said, "Do you have anyone who can help me get inside?" And they had no idea. And I was shocked that they were there. I was scared because it was on the day of the stampede. It was on the day of the stampede. I told them, "What are you doing? There's just been a stampede." And they said, "Do you have a reporter? Can they help us?" Very innocently, they asked me, "Do you have a reporter who can help us get inside?" I said, "You can't." I said, "You can't. It is the Mahakumbh, and you just be careful." And I just, a lot of people, and the reason I'm sharing this is because in that period, we got a lot of calls as journalists saying, "How do we get there? Can you help us get there?" We could not.
And from across the world. From across the world.
Yeah.
Okay. US, from Russia, from Canada. Everyone wanted to be there.
Yeah, that's the drone visual of the Mahakumbh.
66 crore people.
Yes,
66 crore.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to the next one.
Yeah.